you hear what I said?
He was
I'm doing an Oompa Loompa.
All right, because Hugh Grant played an Oompa Loompa.
But it was in the worst adaptation of that fucking story ever.
It was. And I think it's funny he went from that to this.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
All right, okay. All right.
Clapper.
Let's start this.
Should I do it in like a Hugh Grant voice? Welcome everyone to another episode of...
I gotta say, you do the worst British accent I've heard in a long time.
Midnight
Can you do
Movie
Scottish?
Is it Scottish?
No, you should try
he's
Scottish.
fucking English.
Yeah. Welsh? I don't know.
Do Scottish.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I am one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Hugh Grant.
Try again.
Warwick Price.
There you go. And I'm Lon Black. And today we're going to talk about...
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
No.
Jones's Diary.
You're close.
Uh,
Hugh Grant, but it's not that.
oh, what was the Christmas one?
Notting Hill.
No.
No.
What was the Christmas one?
Holiday.
Say anything. No. Anyway.
Which one? He was in like 5.
No, it was the Christmas one where he played the Prime Minister.
Oh.
Oh, Love Actually.
Yes.
I love
You
that movie.
two fucking homos. What are you
I love that
watching?
movie.
No homo.
I've never seen
homo.
any of that.
It's okay to like Love Actually. Anyway, we watched, past tense, Heretic, starring
Heretic.
the amazing Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Hugh Grant's amazing. I'm not necessarily pre-rating this movie.
Pre-rating. Or is that pro-rating?
Pro-rating. Anyway, we did our bourbons.
What time is it right now?
It is
On
2
the-
minutes
on the-
and 16 seconds.
So we've gone off the rails in less than 3 minutes.
This is
Not
fine.
the first time.
Is it
It's
fine?
It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
You may
fine.
want to
Trust me.
put this away though.
Trust me. Don't let him have that. All right. Okay. All right. Talking about the Heretic.
Heretic. So
Not the Heretic. Just Heretic.
Please do describe, or would you like me to?
you can describe.
Yeah,
we
you don't
haven't
get to
done it in a
describe.
You
Yeah,
haven't
good.
described it.
We haven't done
So
trivia
Heretic
either in a long
is
time.
No,
is
no
a film-
fucking trivia.
I want trivia back.
Give me trivia back.
We could.
I want my trivia back.
I did
Trivia
the
back.
trivia. Nobody. I think honestly, nobody has gone in and done any of the old trivia pages that I did.
You know what? Fuck them. This is for us.
We
Yes.
could. You
I
guys-
mean, not
you
really.
guys-
We love
yeah,
you.
I mean it.
I'm
pretty
just.
much hard. So, okay.
What's Heretic
So,
about?
Heretic is a film about 2 Jehovah's Witness females that are going to Hugh Grant's home to... He had filled out something earlier requesting more information from the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Don't they actually prefer what's it, Church of the Latter-day Saints?
What?
Are they Jehovah's?
No, they're all Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not.
Are they
They are
Jehovah's
Church of Latter-day Saints, I think.
Yes, but that's what they are. They are the Church of the Latter-day Saints.
They're religious.
Church
Anyway,
of Latter-day
okay,
Saints
we'll
is
do
Jehovah's
the
Witnesses,
generic.
are they?
Yes.
2
That's the
females
same
that
thing?
are religious show
Yes.
up at his house to discuss.
No shit.
Yeah.
He invites
Sorry.
them in, and they begin a back and forth on different religions and reasonings behind religions and whatnot. I don't want to give too much away as we discuss it, so I will...
We're here for spoilers.
yeah.
Spoiler
Spoilers
alert.
will happen, yes.
The main key is they go into the house under the pretense that his wife is making them pie or
But-
is making pie.
But they're there to begin with because he requested.
Yeah. That's what.
That's the ticket.
Yeah. See, that's what Logan said. But the point is, they went into the house because they're not allowed to go inside the house unless there is a female present, as both of them were female.
Good call on that one. I left that out.
But don't they allow like several wives? So like several
Yeah,
women
but
could have been in
That
the
was
same
one of the
room and
discussion
that's-
points.
Right, but they
Right.
weren't going in as an idea that they were going to become his next wife.
Why not?
Well, I mean, maybe later on. But at this
They were
point,
about the right age, I think.
probably younger.
We should probably rate this.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
right,
yeah.
right.
Well, we haven't necessarily said
Right.
anything bad or.
No, we have not.
Oh,
But
good.
just before we get there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He is done. Okay.
Okay, remember the primary number is on the right.
Primary. Okay.
1.
2,
3.
How many fucking numbers did you?
fuck off. Logan, what you got?
I gave it a 4.3.
I gave it a 3.2.
I gave it a 3.45, which is actually 3.9. So it's just under a 4.
Okay.
No, it's still a 3.45.
All right. All right, fuck you. 4.
Okay.
Okay.
4.
Okay, well,
Would you give it?
4.3.
I gave
What'd you
it.
give
I gave it the low
All right,
3.2.
what's wrong with you?
No. I liked it.
Oh, I could tell from your score.
Yeah.
Hey, 3.2 is a good
It's just a
score.
number I throw out there. I don't know.
It's a good score. It's a good score.
Yes.
No, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, like I think the only thing that the thing that would have given me a little bit of a higher rating is if it had been just a little bit more of a horror movie, as opposed to.
Totally get that.
There was.
Thriller? You think it's more of a
Totally
thriller?
agree.
It's more of a psychological
It's more of
thriller.
it's more of a thinker. It's
Right,
not,
because to me, it's like you could have made this like there were elements of this that to me were very barbarian.
Yes. Yep.
With like the creatures that were in the basement and spoilers by the way.
they weren't creatures, really.
No,
No.
right, but technically barbarian wasn't a creature either.
Oh, okay.
You know
All
what
right.
I'm saying
No, I
is
get you.
it's the people that had previously come to try and again spoilers. The people who had previously tried to come and teach Hugh Grant about religion, I guess, is the estimate. You know, who he then puts through a series of tests. The thing that is really interesting as a complete atheist myself, the thing that I loved about it was, you know, at the end of the day, what Hugh Grant is really showing is just the ridiculousness of religion, and people's.
I have a statement.
Okay.
So, also an atheist, I think this movie is one of those movies that balanced that line.
Because it wasn't
I
bashing
think-
religion at all.
No. And I think what it is the people who are not religious will look at this and say, this is making fun of religion, can't you tell? And the people who are religious are saying, see, the religious people were in the right, they saved the day, or whatever the case is at the end. So this is one of those movies that whatever side you're on, it reinforced you.
Yes.
I 100% agree. Because again, it's, I think, he says it multiple times. I can't remember what his character's name is. But like Hugh Grant's character says it multiple times. It's like, oh, Mr. Reed, that's right, because the whole book thing.
Mr. Reed. Good man, you can see it from over
Is the
No, I can't.
like he says it multiple times, where it basically it's like, you know, use your faith to make your decision.
Right.
Like if you believe that, you know, if you believe in your faith and you believe that your God is the correct God, then go down this staircase. If you have doubts, then go down this staircase. The thing that I think, and Sophia Thatcher,
Great actress, by the way.
oh, she is great in this. Like she is so good. Like her facial like mannerisms are so good because it's like she manages to emote the realization of what is happening.
Yep.
The other gal, Chloe West.
East.
Oh, sorry, it's a sister.
Yeah. Chloe South is the one she doesn't talk about.
No, never go south.
Yeah, never go.
Chloe East, and clearly, obviously, this is the character that she's playing. But like, she's a little bit more naive. She's the one that, like, and you hear through the conversation that she's obviously been part of the Church of Latter-day Saints from the very beginning, as opposed to Sophia Thatcher's character has come
Born
in,
and raised in it.
No, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Like Sophia.
Oh, right. Thatcher
Sophia
was
Thatcher's-
not born and
like,
raised. The other one.
She
She was
came
the
into
doubting
it.
Thomas. In fact, she was the one who still kind of doubts.
Right.
Which was a key point for
100%,
me.
because I think that's why she was, and again, atheist, not necessarily knocking religion. Yes, I am. Fuck it. But like, she was the one that immediately saw what the guy was not immediately. Sorry, she saw what the guy was trying to do. Like,
She was putting the puzzle pieces together.
100%. Where the other one,
Right.
the other one
Because
was
she was more analytical about the whole thing. The other one was more faith-driven, but that was
100%.
obviously done on purpose.
right. And I think what he wasn't expecting clearly is the Sophia Thatcher character. Like, he was expecting both of them to be like.
And yet, I thought because of that, the Thatcher's character was going to be the one that was the final girl. Spoilers.
That was
She
the
wasn't.
twist. That
That threw me off. Okay, Logan, go
So,
ahead. I want to hear this because you're more.
I was a fan.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of this
Well,
film.
clearly.
I completely agree. It rode that line perfectly. Hugh Grant's character he did
fucking amazing.
He did phenomenal in this. I think this. Honestly, he should. I don't. He's probably been nominated. I would at least hope.
If he wasn't, he better be.
But this was a film where edge of your seat. I do agree though. It wasn't as graphic as I was expecting it to be. But in the
Didn't need to be.
It didn't need to,
No.
but it did. It was more of a thinker film than it was out to give you that ew factor, that gore factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, all characters I believe played their parts perfectly, and there was parts where I was thinking something, and Sophia Thatcher's character was right along with you.
Said it.
So it was like you said, that analytical part of me was, oh, I wouldn't have done that. And she would say something, and it was nice how they played along with that, and they used, almost like. The devil on your shoulder and the angel on the,
Well, so think about that. So
100%.
I wanted to jump in on that because Sophia Thatcher's character was the middle of the road,
Yes.
sort of, right?
Yeah.
She was there on behalf of the religion, trying to promote her religion. So she was on the religious side of things, but she kept talking about how the fact that she's not sure herself, she's on a journey to figure it out herself. So you've got Mr. Reed, right, which is Grant's character, and then you've got Chloe, I had to look at her name again, Chloe East, who's the uber religious, like
Yep.
the opposite,
Yep.
the antithesis of Mr.
and again,
Reed.
not so much uber religious, but this is all she's known.
Correct.
Correct.
Right, but she believed in it, she bought into it 100%, so she
wore
was that religion.
the
right?
weird underwear.
Okay. So they were on the extreme right and the extreme left, or let's not say right and left, because I don't want to make this political, but let's just say that they were both opposite sides, polar opposites.
Polar
Yes.
opposites.
Right? And Thatcher was in the middle. Who died first? The one in the middle.
Right.
It came down to the two ends of the spectrum to do battle or work it out or figure out who's on the right side of things. I thought that was brilliant.
I agree.
I didn't see it coming. It was brilliant.
Do you think at the end of the day, in his dying breath, Mr. Reed was like, okay, I wish I could get to my notepad so I could write this down.
Well, the whole point was it was
just because-
research. This whole thing
but,
was research.
but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's like now he finally got someone that almost kind of proved his point of faith isn't everything it's cut out to be.
Yes, but no. So the point is, he wanted to disprove religion or disprove faith. And it was faith that got her through it.
And in the end,
So did that approve or disprove
yeah,
his
it's like,
theory?
do you think she would be? What's the first thing most people say?
No, I'm with
when
you.
when they win something or they make it through something. Oh, thank
They
God.
thank God. Right.
Like, I think that was. She didn't say that, but it was more one of those things. Like I would not doubt she would say, she didn't leave there going, "Fuck God," right?
Right,
Like, she
right,
left
right,
there
right.
probably thinking, "Oh well, this made my belief stronger," because she was praying at one point.
It
and
just
look what happened,
reinforced everybody's side. And that's
Yes.
sort of what I said at
Yeah.
the beginning is
It was
this reinforced Hugh Grant's belief, his character, Mr. Reed's belief, that religion's fake, and it reinforced
Go for it.
Chloe East, who was Sister Paxton. I got to remember that. Sister Paxton's side that religion is true. Even though they went through the same experience, it reinforced both ends of the spectrum that their side was correct.
So okay, so the part that I had a problem with, which is probably why I wrote it down just a little bit. Again, I think really it was because I think there was a place for a little bit more gore, not terrifying gore, but like a little bit more like horror in it, a little bit more suspense in it. But the thing that I felt a little bit of a problem with was the whole miracle part.
Yes.
And not just in terms of obviously Sophia Thatcher works out that there's a fake flaw. It's not
Worked
a
out that it
miracle.
was a hoax.
We changed people out, but at the point that her character dies, Reed is still talking to Sister Paxton as, oh, well, just wait. She's going to come back to life.
Right.
Is that Reed playing the game? He knows that she's not going to come back to life, and she's doing it because he's trying to push Sister Paxton into like praying, into like believing that this could be a miracle that's going to happen, or
He wants to see if she's going to believe it or not.
I think he just kept trying to leave it open to see where she would go.
Right, to
He
play
wanted-
off belief.
yeah, and
How
it-
strong is
oh,
her
well,
belief?
here, the thing I thought was interesting was when he was cutting her arm and pulled out the IUD or whatever that was.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is he doing? And then
Oh,
he
I
pulls
thought
it
that
out,
was
and
a
I'm like,
brilliant move.
right.
Right,
That immediately, I was like, okay. And obviously she was impure in his eyes, right? So then, he felt like, well, she's not coming back, Now, was that his mistake? I believe that was a legitimate mistake on his part.
I think he was trying to prove that she was not as pious as she is claiming she was. I think he was doing that to prove to the other girl
Paxton, yeah.
that she wasn't the religious right, that she was a
right.
fake.
That's why
she was a
that's
fraud.
why she didn't come back.
Yep.
Right. She was a fraud, and therefore she's not worthy of your religion. Oh, but yet she was talking with you. She's here with you, trying to promote. So there's wolves in your rank.
I think the other thing I think is a little bit weird, odd, I don't know, is sometimes, and you see this in movies, and I know it just kind of carries the story forward, but the fact that it just so happens that at the point that he's done this multiple times before, clearly, but at the point that these characters come in, he's just finished his model house. With
I thought he had that built a long time ago.
but he was still working on the
characters and stuff. Yeah, because
things.
new characters, and he's just creating new figurines.
So I thought that was a little.
Who of us doesn't have a collection where we add new figurines?
I
to
guess.
it, right?
I guess.
So,
but no, I thought, like, I genuinely enjoyed this. I bought this. Yeah, I'll take some.
Yeah, giving it to him.
I watched this on
Intermission.
the plane coming back from LA. Oh, motherfucker!
see, if you would not have made the decision hastily to go ahead and have
this
the
is
shit
the finishing
whiskey
the
first,
bottle episode.
This is now we're doing this one. Oh, look at that.
It deserves a stiff drink.
You
after
are-
watching this film. Yeah.
Fucker. Okay.
Enjoy your redwood.
I will.
You sound like a bratty British kid.
I will.
I will.
No. It's funny. I didn't know what to expect. I think this is a very typical A24 movie.
Well,
I thought it was a little bit better than a typical 8.
so I've got a love and hate with A24.
I know,
There's a few movies that are good, and most of them suck ass.
And I think that's ultimately where I'm going. I saw the trailer for this, and I thought it looked interesting. And it's what's actually really funny is, unlike some of the other trailers we watched, where we ultimately, like most trailers, to be honest, where we looked at, you watch it and you go, oh, I basically watched the entire movie. I watched the trailers for this and I'm like, oh wow, they're really holding back.
Yeah.
I agree. 'Cause I'm like, I was lost. I wasn't like, wait, what
and then when you watch the movie, you go, no, they're really not holding back. that really is basically most of the movie.
But there was the summary of it, but there were a lot of little idiosyncrasies throughout the movie that were really
I get
good
it.
and really pointful.
But I will say, it's like, to kind of what you just said, it's like A24 for me has, they have a type. They have a type of movie they make, typically relatively low budget, quick turnaround, so that they can potentially make a cash cow on 1 out of 10 or whatever.
Okay.
So I didn't necessarily have high hopes for this.
Yeah.
And it was way better than I than I thought it was
I
going
heard
to
the
be.
grumblings of film festivals that made the film
Yeah.
festivals and people were, and I thought, I'm intrigued. Now, I mean, the last movie that I got this hyped about was Long Legs, so I got a little nervous about that playing a role in it. But in the end, it did
This paid off for you more than Long Legs did.
Yeah, it met my expectations.
Yeah.
And then some. I left this movie happy that I watched it, and like you said, they rode that line perfectly, I think.
Yeah. They did.
balanced.
So now, if we can venture into that religious side, you're Catholic.
I am a religious person.
So, because I
Sure.
I was originally, right? So
I've let me put it this way: I was raised Catholic.
Yep.
Kind of left it for a while, came back to it, and but
Did you come back to it because of your wife when you got
Yes.
married? Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
so because she's Italian, so she's I'm Italian, but she's like
By the way, I love
Right
the
in
way you
there.
say Italian.
Yeah,
Italian.
and he's using his hands.
Italian.
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 how do you say it?
Italian.
It's not Italian.
I knew somebody that said Italian.
You're
It's
an I-tie. You're an
ital.
I-tie.
Yeah,
Ital.
it's like an iPad. Anyway.
Because I went to
But-
Catholic grade school, Catholic
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
and they over-educated
Well,
me.
I mean, I went to communion. I mean, it's like Church of
Yeah.
England. It's like Church of England is Catholic adjacent.
right,
you know,
because
it's
it's
the whole-
the
the whole-
Queen didn't want to put up with the Pope, so she made her own religion.
Well, no,
there you
it's Henry VIII. Henry VIII
Oh,
wanted to be able to have
okay.
more wives.
There you
And-
go.
and-
the
and-
religion said no.
That's
Well,
for hymns, right?
no,
The Pope said no.
no, right, because basically the Pope allowed him up until I think until like his second wife.
Yeah.
And then when he wanted to have a third wife, they're like, hold on a second.
Two's okay.
Yeah,
but three is
we-
where
we-
that's
kill one of
where
them
we
off.
draw
Yeah.
the line.
Well, and
That's where
even
we
the
say
killing
no.
off wasn't enough because he killed off Catherine of Aragon on the first one in order to do the second one, and they kind of like allowed it to continue. But ultimately, you can't divorce people. You know, it's like,
It's good to be king.
anyway. So he just literally created an entire new religion,
Right, based on the same religion.
the Church of
Just
England.
said it's Church of England.
But so like I went to communion. It's like we used to go to church. I went to Sunday school. I went
Yep,
to
yep.
all this stuff, and then finally
me too.
when I was a teenager, my mother was at a point where she goes, it's up to you whether you want to go anymore. And both my sister and I were like,
Fuck
yeah, we
that.
we don't want to go anymore.
Done.
Because you want to do other stuff.
Yes.
But so the reason I bring that up, and the
Yeah.
reason I ask you that is because the way you viewed this, was I right? It viewed more of
So-
the way that enforced what you believe as opposed to what you think
Not
the other side
necessarily.
believes.
So I'm kind of a weird person
In
when
so
it comes,
fucking ways.
What, like
when it
we
comes to
don't know
religion.
this?
So for me, I view religion as it's something you believe in. That's your choice. I don't. I know the one thing that they do tell you with Catholicism and actually with any Christianity, any of those, they want you to try to convert people.
Right.
You know, to believe. But
Which is specific because that's really a Jehovah Witness thing.
Yeah.
That is like
Yeah.
their thing.
I don't
Yeah.
believe in doing that. I feel like if you have your beliefs, I have mine.
Yep.
It shouldn't. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with politicians and things like that, and political.
Right.
To me, it's
Absolutely.
it should not cause
Absolutely.
me to hate you because
Right.
you believe something else. You believe in something else. That's totally your choice. And that was the thing I liked about the film was if you were an
Yep.
atheist or you don't believe it, then you're going like, oh, well, Hugh Grant's, he's making points. You know, he's
Right.
proving, he's like,
Right.
hey, there's 12 other, people, 12 other religions that had somebody die and come back to,
Right.
and he's just pointing this stuff out and he's letting you decide, like,
Right.
do you still want to believe it now that this person, this could have been from, and, the whole thing with the Bible is that's somebody's interpretation, and then
Right.
there was somebody that back in King Charles, there's a
There
King
was
Charles Bible,
several-
and you know what I mean, like that's their interpretation, and they probably
interpretations,
threw in their little
Well,
things.
right.
and you
Right,
have the
right,
you
right.
have the whole Reformation. The whole Reformation was basically they used to be like 50 or 60 different books in the Bible, and then the Catholic Church basically said it's like yeah, that's too many.
Yeah.
Let's go in and cull them down to be able to tell the story that we want to tell, which is basically if you don't believe in God, then you're going to hell.
Yes.
Right.
If you commit sin, then you're going to hell.
And hell wasn't even
Yeah, it's a
invented
control thing, 'cause
until later,
just
like
like in the
19th
movie.
century.
It is a
just like in the movie.
18th century. Yeah, 18th century.
Again, it's like religion all stems from control. It's like you used to have you had religions like for millennia as a way of explaining things that people couldn't explain.
Yeah.
Like why is it that all of a sudden thunder comes? Okay, well that's because there's a god up there called Thor.
Yep.
That is telling, you know, that is
Why is our
that's mad
crops
for
not
something.
growing? It's because the gods are mad. Yeah,
Right.
And that's that's the thing is I've been in a situation where I was probably as close to death as I possibly could have been, and all it was black. I got hit by a car when I was 13 and got thrown about 40, 50 feet.
Explains a lot.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be rude and crass.
And all I remember is seeing car lights coming towards me, and then black. And then I came to like 5-10 minutes later, and that was it. And to me, that at that point, that was actually around the point that I got away from church, because I'm thinking, if that's all it is just nothing, then what am I supposedly believing? I thought I'd be seeing pearly gates possibly, or seeing old family members, like that's what you hear, and I got frustrated with that. But like this movie, I felt like they tried to, they didn't, like you said, I keep going back to it, but they rode that fine line.
They did.
They did it perfectly. And
because let me ask you point blank then, did it change your mind on your religion?
It did not change my mind on my religion, but it also didn't make me want to. It didn't make me go, see, he's proving, that what I think, right? Like that's. I felt like he was just saying, like, hey, what do you think? He was doing exactly what he's doing in the movie, where he's just he's getting data.
So like to me,
research for him.
Like the best thing that he does in the whole movie is until certainly the last 20-30 minutes, he never raises his voice.
No.
Like everything is done very calmly, very matter of factly.
Which is why he was the perfect character perfect actor to do this.
This is truly one of the best roles I've seen him in for a very long time.
I got Anthony Hopkins' Silence of the Lambs,
calmness,
totally.
Just the calmness that his pulse never got above 80.
Yes,
because it was research to him. There was nothing personal. There was nothing.
How many times had he been through that before? He was so calm because you could. Oh God, I hope they don't. But they'll probably do like a Heretic prequel or something. Like, he was the first couple.
Oh, that could be
like how it started, because it's
I'd
like
watch that.
So maybe I'm just trying to remember. So he didn't actually. Did he? Sorry, I'll ask it a different way. Did he actually have a wife? Or was his wife one of the people that were down in the basement?
No, he didn't. They didn't say. They didn't really divulge in that, but they left it vague enough. But I don't believe any one of the wives, or his wife, was any one of the ladies in down below. I think that was a made-up wife. I don't think he actually
the way
had
I
one.
interpreted that was similar. That maybe that's what pushed him over the edge.
His wife died.
Yes, maybe his wife passed on.
And that's where the prequel comes.
Yeah, like you could say, okay, maybe that's what caused him to start questioning faith, because why would they take my wife? That type of thing.
Because
take my wife.
Because I mean, his house was pretty elaborate.
Yes.
Like
it had dungeons built in it, for Christ's sake.
Right, well, and that's what I mean.
See what I did there, for Christ's sake.
Yes.
Oh,
but I mean, it's like, and also I love the
Nobody
fact that it's. Like, again, I just love the way he explained the fact that, clearly you saw it, the building from the outside. It's like, you know
where my house is.
Right. There's a hill, and it drops off in the back. It's like, you have to go down to the basement in order to do it. And it's like everything was so matter of factly done.
Right.
I mean, it was so excellently done.
Yep. Because it's like he assumed that these people, like when she started bringing out her analytical side and started noticing things, he was catching on to that, like, she's picking up on stuff. Well, clearly you noticed this then. Clearly you noticed this. And really, all that was misguiding. He was misguiding the whole time.
Kind of just turned slightly, right?
Right.
And then she kind of was like...
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
he wanted her to see that.
Yeah,
he wanted her to see
that.
It was a test. Like, everything was a test.
100%. Because yes, even the candle, it was that whole thing of like, it's your belief that enabled you to come into the house, because part of you believes that God is going to protect you from any evils. So the fact that I've now revealed to you that smell of a blueberry pie that you think you're smelling is actually just the candle that's in front of you.
Yep.
Right. Yes, everything was a test. Everything was a test to see whether would they go into the back room with him.
Right.
And the reaction to each thing. So when they started questioning stuff, well, can't we go out the front door? It's on a timer.
Which was the most ridiculous thing
ever.
Yeah, like I was like,
it's on a timer.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right, and you're telling me that the only way out is either through the front door or through this basement, like into the back
To
door.
get out the hill.
So you're telling me
Around
that,
the hill.
that you never go out the house
Right.
unless
Yeah.
the timer is on?
Right.
I mean,
It was ludicrous. It was ridiculous. But I think
But
that
he
was part
took
of the
it in
point.
stride,
Oh,
right? Like the way
Right.
he did it.
Because he's like, well, how much is she going to believe?
Yeah.
right. Well, and again, very much like I kind of joked about the attorneys viewing the Nosferatu in the previous movie.
Right.
I think this is also something that would be an interesting to determine whether or not.
He has a legal right.
Well, no, not so much that. No, like if the Church of Latter-day Saints shows something like this, or at least reiterates something like this, where it's like, hey, we have a rule that you're not allowed to go into a dwelling that only has a man in it without a woman, and the guy saying that, oh, she's in the kitchen right now, come on in, she's making pie. That isn't a good excuse.
Yep.
It's like you need to see the woman before you come into the house with the man.
And I do feel like they played that well enough that they were showing how desperate they were to try and get. Because that one girl said, "Oh, I need to have X amount of converts or whatever."
Right.
Like I feel like that was showing her how desperate she was to get this. That she was willing to. Well, we're not supposed to do this, but
So I might well have told you the story in the past, but when my wife and I were back in California like years ago, we had an employee, and he was a Jehovah's Witness, and on Fridays I used to work from home, and so I would like chat with him like long time. I chatted a long time.
I knew somebody had to.
I was trying not to.
Somebody had to.
And super nice guy, like super nice guy, and like we'd have these like long like theological conversations about it, and I would say, like, okay, to be honest, like some of the things that got brought up in here is like, there are so many religions in this world, like how do you know that yours is the right religion?
Right.
And his response was, it's like, well, we're taught that the devil puts all other religions on earth as a way of like confusing us, and therefore it's only the Church of Latter-day Saints that are strong enough to know what the correct religion is, and it's our religion.
Lucky for them.
And I said I'm like,
picked the right one.
I'm like, well, isn't that a little bit convenient? That your religion just happens to be the correct religion. And he goes, well, that's what we believe.
Right.
But he used to, every day before he would come into work, he would go to like one of like 3 or 4 different gas stations, and talk to people that were pumping gas at their car to try and convert them.
Really?
I said, I asked him, I'm like, what's your conversion rate? Like how many people are you?
What are your statistics on this?
Like how many people are you
What are
converting?
really the statistics?
And he said it's like, and I think to the point.
I'm going to guess 0, right?
To the point of the movie, none at the gas station.
Yeah,
He
of course
goes,
not.
but legitimately they do get people that want more information.
Sure, because there's always people that are lost souls that are looking for some sort of guidance, that are looking for some sort of answers to something. And religion fills that gap for people who are looking for an answer. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying that there's people who look for an answer. Religion fills it. Some people look for an answer, and this fills it. Some people look for an answer, and something else, mathematics fills it. I mean, you don't know. So people are looking for an answer, and I get that.
My one of our friends back in California, like she studied lots of different religions. She was atheist as well, but like she has studied lots of religions, and I might be getting this totally correct. So if there's a Jehovah's Witness that happens to be listening or watching, put in
From
comment.
India?
From India. But like I think Jehovah's Witnesses is the religion that there is a finite number of people that will ultimately make it to the afterlife.
Really?
Yeah. And so
Really?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
And it's something weird like 12,000 people.
Yeah, it's something
Like it's something relatively small.
So you have to like be the best Jehovah's Witness
Right.
ever?
And that's why they do the conversion.
Yeah, what if somebody you convert then does
The-
something?
the-
You're like,
the-
"Hey!"
This is the point. This is the point.
that was my spot.
Yeah.
So she
son of a-
had this conversation with this one like young person that came to the door, and said basically exactly that. Like,
Wow.
but aren't you concerned that you will convert someone, and all of a sudden that
Takes your
person is
spot.
taking your spot.
Yeah.
And she was like, and the person, it was a girl, and she was like, I hadn't thought of that.
I'm an atheist now.
You know,
I'm an atheist.
and so like, and so she left.
Fuck this.
And about 2 days later, my friend gets a knock at the door, and it's the same girl with one of her elders.
Oh, boy.
To have like a bigger conversation about the whole thing.
Jeez. So she couldn't psychologically handle it herself, so she
Right.
got somebody bigger and
Well, or
stronger.
she
Yeah.
talked to them about it, and they're like, "Oh shit, they're
Yeah.
can't
we-
have
You
that.
shut up. I'll
yeah,
handle
we
this.
need to quash this
I'll
down.
handle this.
I'll
Wow.
do this myself."
Anyway, we split off into like a talk about religion.
I know, but this movie was all about religion. That was the whole thing, and it's
And that's what I
scary.
think that this movie was
On
trying
purpose.
to do, was get these conversations started.
Absolutely. And honestly, beyond that, it was to scare you into this conversation. Because there could be some people who look at this and who are religious and think, they're jeopardizing my religion. Their viewpoint is
bastardizing it.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? And other people who are more like atheists are looking at this going, that's dangerous that the Jehovah's Witness girl is the final girl. That's disconcerting. You're right. So like maybe there's a bit of fear in it for people who are
I have a
non-religious
question for
religious.
both of you.
All right, the answer is 42.
Who do you think the heretic was? Was it Mr. Reed? Or do you think it was like either?
So what's your definition of heretic?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the definition of the movie,
All
right?
look it up.
Let's look
Like-
up the
like-
actual,
Make
because
sure you're making a-
this,
Like,
is,
so-
this
so-
is a distinction.
It's a good
here.
question. I like this question.
My understanding of a heretic is someone who doesn't believe or goes against the will of God.
Okay.
What is it? Say it again. What did you-
Someone who goes against the will of God.
Okay, but by that definition, it would clearly be Mr. Reed then. All right.
But
Let's
is
look
he going
at-
against the will of God, or is he trying to prove?
Right, because to be honest, he doesn't necessarily say he's religious
Correct.
or not.
He just studies religions.
Right.
Oh, I think he made it very clear that the fact that there were so many other religions, how do you know you're the right one and stuff like that? I think made it very clear that he's not religious.
But see, I don't.
He even tested their faith with
I-
fake
But could
tests.
that have been him being a doctor trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
non-committal.
Right. In other words,
Like,
he's still questioning.
Yeah, he's got to look like he's okay.
This
What's
is
the
very
definition?
interesting. Several. One is a professed believer who maintains religious opinions contrary to those accepted by their church.
Yep.
Or rejects doctrines prescribed by that church. So in other words, if you were still a Catholic and you went against the Catholic teachings, you would be a heretic.
Right.
But you're still a Catholic.
Technically, I'm Church of England. I'm a heretic to the Catholic faith.
Okay.
Catholic faith.
Second definition would be Roman Catholic Church, a baptized Roman Catholic who willfully and persistently rejects any article of faith. So within your own religion. So even though the Church of England and Catholicism is the same religion, there's just they're differentiating between the Pope being in charge or not.
Right.
Right? So that's the same religion. So within your own church, going against the church teaching is a heretic.
100%.
In your own religion.
Yes.
Whatever that is. The third one would be anyone who does not conform to an established attitude, doctrine, or principle, which is more what I took heretic to mean. Somebody who's not necessarily religious in any way, just rejects any attitude, doctrine, or principle of religion.
But again, it's a point of view, right? So in other words, it's like I think the person who would be that third example would consider themselves an atheist.
Correct. It's from the viewpoint of a religious person who they're debuking.
Right. Debunking.
Debunking. Debut.
So,
So, do you think then,
I've had a few.
I think that third one then would constitute Hugh Grant's character, Mr. Reed.
Agreed. The third one for sure.
And unless he is very scientific,
So
which
that's what-
again technically
yeah.
wouldn't make him religious.
Was there any point where the final girl denounced her faith?
No,
Correct.
like she was steadfast to the very end. Like, and to be honest,
So she can't be the
She just
heretic.
became.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So she can't be the heretic.
Correct. She stuck to her guns. Yes.
You're right. You're right.
She,
So,
well,
like, he
although
now
she,
Thatcher's
I feel like
character-
she questioned her
Like,
faith
what-
initially, though, when she saw the body swap. She didn't know initially that it was. She thought it was.
She thought it was true miracle, and then she saw it was debunked.
correct by her own.
Or
but
debut,
but
in
but
this
that
case.
didn't necessarily. But that didn't necessarily make her heretic.
correct, because it just made her question, which is that's what I think this whole thing is he's just trying to get you to question, and whether you question it and quit is up to you. It's a matter of if you question it and understand it deeper, or you question it and say, I'm out of here, this isn't making sense, and this doesn't agree with me. He wasn't trying to get her to denounce her faith and move on. He was trying to either strengthen her faith or get her to...
I disagree. I don't think he
Okay.
was trying to strengthen her faith at all. I think he was trying to see how far he could push her before she lost faith.
Right. Because
Okay.
because to be honest, and again, kind of back to our you guys' point, because I don't think I said it, of I don't think a religious person should necessarily see anything wrong with this movie. Is in reality, those women who are in the basement, those are all people that in theory had enough faith that they didn't debunk their faith.
And in some cases still have faith
Right.
and are doing this based on their faith.
Right.
So,
Like to be honest, I mean who knows how many people
Yeah, because they weren't
got
leaving.
killed.
No matter what, they weren't leaving.
right.
Nobody was leaving.
Right.
Right,
And to say that's a little brainwashed.
Right, because clearly
Right,
he's
so-
not going to allow anyone to leave.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They really can't leave even if they
Right.
want to. So, to that point, is it really something
Well,
that they're there
wait,
because
wait,
of
wait,
their
wait.
faith, or because they're
Nobody
a
was
prisoner and they
leaving.
have to do that what he tells them to do?
Let's say that again.
So, is it really they're there because of their faith and they're trying to be more pious, or really they're there because they can't leave and he's just forcing them to do stuff? They're not really there for any religious reasons. They're there because they're
but see,
prisoners and forced
I
to
feel
do.
like if they were there and were truly faithful, they would not commit suicide by eating the pie. They know the pie is going to kill them.
Do they?
Yes. Because he was explaining to them that the pie...
But we only heard him explain that after they'd already ate the pie.
To the other girls, not to her. Yeah, I'm not so sure.
But what would he... I guess, yeah, because if they were starved enough, they would think that it's food.
That's the key. I know it's like clearly he was. I mean, who knows how long those people have been down there? But
Yeah.
clearly he was keeping them alive. But I'm guessing barely
Barely.
keeping them alive. And so if they suddenly get put food in front of them, they're just going to eat it. And certainly in the example that we gave, obviously we don't know how many other examples there had been, but in the example that we were shown, he didn't explain that there was poison in the pie until after they'd long since ate the pie. I mean, not long since, but like...
And even the other women that were in the cages, they can't hear that. They
No.
weren't there for that, so...
Yeah.
But that does beg the question of, so who was doing the swap? Because...
Well, the girls were doing the swap.
But why were they...
I
were
took
they
it
doing
as
this-
they knew what they were doing. They knew that this was a setup, that they were doing this hoax because the one who was face down after they took away the dead one, who came back to life, she was there. She knew what she was doing. She was there to play a role, to pretend you're dead and came back to life. She knew what she was doing. Otherwise, she wouldn't have faked being dead and then, you know.
Well, no, but she... right.
She had to play a part.
But why?
I knew because if she doesn't, she was going to be killed. I'm kind of guessing there, but they were prisoners, right? Your captor tells you to do something, he's
And
prodding you to do something, you do it.
Right. I mean,
least they did.
in theory, you know, and again, I mean, almost proving the religious point, right? You know, it's like you have faith that you're going to survive, and therefore, you know, if all you have to do is do what this guy says.
It may have been faith, or it may have been prisoner mentality.
Yeah,
They're
the
prisoners.
Stockholm syndrome.
The Stockholm syndrome. You are told to do something. You better do it. Otherwise, you're going to get killed.
Or
Totally separate
or
from
could
faith.
Could it be Stockholm syndrome for all of them, that they start to understand him and think that he's God?
Oh,
in a sense,
absolutely
right?
possible. Absolutely possible. But they didn't dive that far into that part.
Yeah.
Right? They focused more on the two, not heroines, the two girls that are in the story,
Right.
more than anything else.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I want another movie.
You do?
I want another
A
movie.
prequel or a sequel?
A prequel that talks
Yeah, I want
about
a prequel too.
like, you know,
More of his story, what's
some of
going
these
on,
questions
why.
of like, you know,
Yeah.
what's their reasoning for doing this? Like, how did he have so many people down there? Is there an assumption that for every person that's down there, there's someone that died? Because I mean,
Or was that the culmination of everything that he needed? Right, those two last girls. Did he? Maybe he knew. He assumed he would die at some
because
point.
his notebook, he started writing for them, but I couldn't tell necessarily. Was this a fresh notebook? Like, was he doing like?
I don't think he expected them when they showed up. Because when they showed up, they're like, "Oh, would you like to hear about Jesus Christ?" And he's like,
Sure.
yes, I would." He was not ready for them.
But they did say though that you showed interest.
Right.
So,
but he
So
probably
he
did that
probably-
and didn't
he
think
wasn't
anybody would
expecting
show
them
up.
then, yeah.
And then they showed up. He's like, "Oh, all right, let's get this thing going.
did
Let's
that.
do some research. Let's set up the. You get in position. You
Yeah.
turn off this.
So
'Cause he's got
I-
a stage laid out in his little toy.
We are 45 minutes.
Well, this was a good movie to talk
I
about.
think this was a great
Yeah.
one. One other interesting thing was
Yeah.
the song that was played at the very, very end
Yeah.
was played by, it was sung certainly by Sophia Thatcher.
Oh, I didn't know it was sung by her.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she was. I saw the
what?
I saw the
That's awesome.
At the end,
the song
credits.
credits come up and like her name
Wow.
was on there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Why didn't you come up with that, Logan?
Eh,
You freaking trivia guy.
it was. I was. So
There were no
in awe
vehicles
of
in
the
this.
He's
So you
about
didn't
to
have
ask
any
us
license
what the
plates.
make and model of the bikes were.
Bikes.
No, but I did.
Wait, I want to bring up a point. Oh, go ahead. You
No,
were
no,
going to say.
I was going to bring up Substance, but just basically there was a point where my wife, while we were watching Substance, said, "Is this in the '80s?" Because they were all still, and then
It was
they
weird.
They pulled away in a car, and I said, "License plate 2022 sticker."
Well, but I
was like, it came in
But
handy.
that's that points to my whole theory about it being a fairy tale, is that there was no decade.
that is
definable
100% correct. We're down. This is probably more finishing the bottle, but you're 100% correct, because there are parts where, like, she drives away in a Mustang, but like an 80s 90s Mustang, but they have cell phones.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what I had to
Right.
point out to my wife. Is she's like, I haven't seen any cell phones. I said, Randy Quaid had one after he's eaten all the sloppy, and
Right,
he picks
right.
it up and walks over to go talk to the guy.
And
I was
all
like,
the
"Ooh, his hands
cars,
are dirty."
because I paid attention. I was trying to find out what do the cars are, and
Yeah.
oh wait, that's a 1987 or 70s. They
Well,
were all older cars.
But
Right.
you notice nowadays kids are tight rolling their jeans. They're doing stuff from the '80s. So I was like, that makes sense. Like, and then they had leg warmers when Sue was doing.
But
Like-
that's my point. That
Well,
was an
even when
80s
when
thing.
Demi Moore was doing the dance stuff, like she
Yeah.
still that was
All right.
that was a total like.
All right,
James,
we're off on a
James
tangent.
Bond.
We're off on a
Anyway,
tangent, but I did want to mention one little thing.
Yes,
Yep.
sorry.
That when we were talking about the bikes, did you notice the elder Jehovah's Witness?
Topher Grace,
Tobert?
Topher.
Topher, that's right. What a weird 70s show guy. Came back, and you thought, oh, he saw the bikes, he's going to confront
Totally,
him. No,
totally.
he just wanted to leave another fucking brochure.
To me, that was perfect.
That was
that was
exactly
so
perfect.
for.
That was
But
like,
it made
yes.
sense because he went
It's
back to talk to his
just
wife.
a Jehovah's
so he went
Witness.
outside and got the bikes, and then.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, that part, but the whole thing that the fact that
So, do you think he switched the keys on purpose?
switch, yeah, the
No,
whole
no,
thing
no.
he did was on
Or
purpose.
do you
Oh,
think he
pocket to
messed up?
pocket.
Yes.
Oh, I think that he might have messed up.
I don't know. I think
I
that
feel like he was so fucking calculated.
I
Well,
think he
maybe
was
he did
so
it on purpose
calculated.
then. Maybe he did it on
I
purpose.
think
she
he's-
even points it out. She's like, "You thought we were."
Oh, you know what? He did do it on purpose then,
Yeah.
because he did make a mention. He wanted to see if she would notice that, and she did.
yes,
You're right. All right.
yes.
Great movie. Good movie.
I mean, yes. I mean, I think this was an
All right.
interesting conversation. This
Great.
wasn't us like babbling about like stupid
No,
fucking shit.
No,
Like,
we could
this-
talk
this-
about this another. We may do this. We'll do a finishing the bottle on
Yes.
these last 6 episodes and
Yeah.
see what we think.
Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a long one, so
Yeah, it's a
hopefully
thinker.
you lasted this long. I
Talked
think
about a lot.
I think that's interesting.
We talked about a lot. I think this was probably one of our more in-depth episodes that
Yeah.
we've done in a long time.
It was a good one.
because it's got a
definitely-
lot to
it's a
cover.
conversation starter.
It is a major conversation. Okay,
Cool.
maybe we'll pick it up in a finishing the bottle episode.
Awesome.
What did I say?
Finishing the
bottle?
body.
That's
Finishing
all
the
I heard.
finishing the
Jesus,
body.
I don't even know if I said something.
We're gonna
else at all.
finish the body in the other room.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later.
Adieu.
Bye.
And that's
Oh,
adieu.
what the? You gotta and some throw
Adieu.
some adieu.
Adieu.
Some Britishy flighty thing in there with
It's
it.
So
fucking
long.
it's
So
Austrian.
long, farewell.
It's Austrian.
Oh,
Have
do
you
you
not
listen?
seen the sound
Don't you?
of fucking
Don't you
music?
guys own that too?
Adieu.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, you got to buy that then.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Be sure to follow us on social media.
How come you got more?
Because you're lame. You don't know what to say.
What are we supposed to do? Like, just like
You-
like
like
literally
Logan.
time
I
it
could
all
have been like,
out.
tune into the next
You
one
keep
or something.
screwing it
Yeah,
up.
but-
You're gonna knock
Okay,
it
this is
out
like take
airtime.
15. And like I only screwed up like 3 of them. You
Look,
screwed up like
look,
8.
we're just gonna keep this one, okay?
This is the one.
This is
All right,
it.
This
We're
one
done.
right here.
Finish
Okay,
it.
done.
And